write their testimony. But Melanie Griffin is the, well, she'll tell you her relationship status. But Aaron is the kid's father, and we've known Aaron since we first started this ministry, and we've got to see him grow. But Melanie, do you mind coming up and sharing your story with us?
Hello everyone, it's nice to meet everybody, put some names and faces together. Okay, so when you support Beauty for Ashes, you're sowing into people's lives, you've sown into our lives, and I'm crying already. I should promise myself I'm going to cry. It's okay. You're sowing into lives that have been broken, that have been shaken to their cores. On May 1st, 2015, at a Beauty for Ashes spring banquet, God brought my family back together. See, Aaron's actually my ex-husband. We've been divorced for 9 years now. Of that 8 years, he has been in the Lansing Correctional Facility. Now, early on in Aaron's incarceration, he rededicated his life to Christ. He grew up in church, I grew up in church. Along the way, as people tend to do, they kind of, veer off from where they should be. It's at Lansing that he joined the Brothers in Blue group. He attended this Oaths of Righteousness class. It's in this class that he made a promise and commitment to God that whatever he needed to do, whatever he needed to prove, he was going to get his family back. Years passed since he took that class, but he was stubborn, and he wouldn't give up about it. But through continual support and love from Beauty for Ashes, from their mentors, he's become a great faithful leader in the church. Throughout the years, Aaron would ask us to come to these gatherings, and we lived in Ohio. So 1,000 miles, single mom with 3 kids, that was a big deal. So we never came. It was just something I didn't feel, and it was our time to do. But in 2014, he tried again. So, and I said, okay, we will, I feel peaceful about this. The kids are a little bit older, maybe they'll understand. His sentence, he didn't have that much time left. So I thought this would be easier explaining to the kids why Dad still has to stay here. That was for the Christmas banquet. We didn't get to come. We had a family emergency. So without missing a beat, he said, well, the spring banquet is right around the corner, so we'll just shoot for that one. So that's when we began really planning our trip out here, and that's when God started dealing with me. Aaron and I we've always had an open communication. We have kids. I didn't want to be that divorced family that, well, you need to tell your dad this, or you need to tell your mom that. And in the arguing, I came from that. It was shaped who I am today because of that. So we stayed in contact most of his incarceration, much to my annoyance. Keeping true to the promise, though, that Aaron made to God, he reached out every way possible to let the kids know that he loved them, to let me know that he loved me. He wasn't shy about letting me know this, and I was not shy about letting him know that that's okay. But then every once in a while, I would get this voice in my head that would say, maybe this could work. Maybe God really has changed his heart. This would be your testimony. This would be an amazing testimony one day if this were to happen. And then, of course, I started rationalizing everything. How would this work? How would that work? And more importantly, what would people think? Nobody remarries their spouse, especially, ex-spouse. Especially if they've been in jail. Like, that's just unheard of. So the closer we got to coming out here, the more these thoughts kept flooding in my mind. I started to pray for God to just open my heart. I could see that he was dealing with something, and I just, let me back up and get out of your way and let me have full reign of whatever it is that's going to be taking place. So April 30th arrived. We packed the kids into the minivan and we set out across the country. There are no words to describe the excitement and anxiety level that was in that van for 16 hours. My mom and the kids and the radio. So that Friday night we pulled up to the anti-corruption facility, the minimum. Oh, I'm pointing like it's that way. Everyone else is that way. It was the most intimidating thing I have ever done. It was just downright scary, because it was just scary. It's jail. Willingly going into jail. The kids at this point and we've not seen Aaron in 8 years. We've had letters, we had emails, we had the random phone calls. We could send some pictures back and forth, but they haven't seen their dad, haven't felt and touched their dad in 8 years. Morgan, she was only 1, so she had no memory of her dad. Wyatt and Abby, they were 5 and 4, so they have fuzzy memories of what it was like to have dad at home. So as usual, we were the last one to arrive at this banquet. And so we checked in, and immediately people were asking, oh, Aaron's family. Oh, we've heard about you. Oh, he's so good, and he sings. And I'm like, what? He sings? That's a whole other story. So then, I can feel like by this point my heart is just racing, and I'm like, what is going to happen tonight? So we walked down the sidewalk, and we come around the corner to the visitation area, and there's Aaron standing at the door. Just waiting on us. For the kids, I'm trying like, no, don't run. And Aaron's like, come run. So they hugged and we cried, and we hugged and cried some more, and now I've lost my place. So he paraded us around, showing, introducing us to friends and volunteers, and getting proud Dad would do. So we sat down to this fabulous meal that honestly I can't remember if I ate or not. So many emotions were sweeping over me that I was either crying or laughing. And then I'm thinking the kids are, they're catching up and talking to their dad and picking on him, and in my head I'm thinking, oh my gosh, I love him. Like, what in the world? This is so crazy. Like, Melanie, you have to tell him this. And they're like, no, I can't tell him this. So, that argument you have in your head with God that, I'm right, you're wrong. So, the banquet was coming to a close. We had to say our goodbyes. The kids were crying, Aaron was crying, and they're hugging, and then he goes to hug me, and I'm just, here it is. Like, I love you. This is what you prayed for. You prayed for this. Amazing to be that loved by somebody that has gone through so much. I felt so peaceful, and like just this burden had been lifted off of me. So we finished our visit, we got to stay, we got to come again on Saturday and Sunday. We got to stay for the whole weekend. So we go back to Ohio. Dad is in Kansas still. So we talk almost every day, we write letters, we really worked on our relationship. What better way than to communicate and to talk on the phone when you have no other option to do. So we came out for the Christmas dinner, which was awesome, getting to see the kids with their dad, a Christmas tree and presents. But this time we did it as a family. It wasn't so tired. So then this past year and a half, since all this happened, has been a whirlwind of blessings. Whether it be help financially, having friends open their homes to me out here while we looked for a place to live. We've moved from Ohio to Kansas. The kids stayed in Ohio, so family helped out with keeping them while I was looking for a house and a job. And through another volunteer, they knew of somebody that had a business that was right in my line of what I do. So I just slid right in, and it was an amazing job, amazing opportunities for me, further my education even. So that's where we are. He'll be released in April. He is still incarcerated. But we get to see him a lot more often than if we lived in Ohio. Yeah, so we will be married again in April. So, because of Aaron's audacious faith, the faith that he had to ask God for this, what probably seemed like impossible burnt bridge prayer, and to help it be precious. And Gina and Jeff and Penny. God moved mountains for my family. I'm so incredibly thankful for those 3 people, and I apologize if I know there's more people involved. I don't know. I can't tell you how